Now, moving on to another team in the AFC East, you talked about how you don't think they are one of the three best teams. And I think the Patriots are a team that certainly separated any conversation there was. Not that there was, but the Patriots did finish third in the division last year. And this year they went out and they spent, Ryan, $232 million spent on the first day of free agency for a Bill Belichick team. That is the least Patriot-like thing that they've ever done. So what was your reaction to this massive spending spree right out of the gates of free agency?
I couldn't believe it when I saw it happening. It was unbelievable. They had a ton of money and they just started spending it on anybody they could find. And it all started last week on Friday when they re-signed Cam Newton, which was a move I didn't really see coming. But I guess, second year in the system, who knows? But then they just started loading up. Jonnu Smith, Matt Judon, Jalen Mills, Nelson Aguilar, who, as a Giants fan, I've made fun of him a lot, but I really like this signing after the year he had last year. Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, they brought in two tight ends. Bill Belichick loves his two tight end sets. They're really going all out to improve that offense, which was ranked around 27th last year in total offense. So the offense was a priority. And yeah, they're adding tight ends. They're adding a lot to their receiver corps, which was pretty much non-existent after last year. So yeah, they're loading up, but I think it just comes down to whether Cam Newton can have a productive season and throw the ball well. If he does, then I think the Patriots are in really good shape.
I actually agree 1,000% that it does come down to Cam. But something I want to talk about here is I think this will be a popular story. I think it already is, how people are perceiving Bill Belichick spending this money as, he's pissed off that Brady won. He's trying to get back at Brady. They're tying it into that. And I think it just has to do with the opportunity. The Patriots went into this offseason with the third most cap space in the league. And as we've talked about, in a year the cap went down, it's such an asset to have that. And he knows that this team did not have the weapons on offense, right? They couldn't correctly evaluate Cam Newton because he wasn't throwing anyone the ball. Undrafted receiver Jacoby Myers led the team in targets last year. So Bill Belichick, they knew it had to change. And so I love the Jonnu Smith signing in particular, because it's one where if you look at his career stats, you're like, oh, he only has like 1,000 career yards. He is a physical specimen. He had 8 touchdowns last year. He's perfect in the red zone. He's 6'3" and he runs a 4.6. He was top 5 in yards after catch for tight ends, top 20 in the league. So he is a guy who is more than just a prototypical tight end. I think Hunter Henry is, and I think they're a perfect balance because Hunter Henry can get you down the field. He is a prototypical blocking, all that tight end. Jonnu Smith is a red zone freak. You can get him out in space. We saw the Titans. They would throw him screens last year and he would take it 25 yards. He's a fast guy. So I do like those fits for the offense. Nelson Aguilar, you said, he had a career year in Vegas last year, almost 900 yards. And they certainly did pay a steep price for him, 2 for 26. So I do really like these moves from the Patriots. And I don't think, again, that it has anything to do with Tom Brady or that aspect. I think this is Bill Belichick knowing that maybe he's been neglecting free agency for a while now. He liked the guys on the market, and his team, they still do have holes. They still do need another lineman. Their center, David Andrews, entered free agency today. They could re-sign him. Joe Tooney obviously left. So this Patriots team does still have holes, but I wouldn't be surprised to see if they rival the Bills. I know it's a long time between now and then. A ton needs to happen. And similar to how you ended your last point, I absolutely agree. It comes down to Cam Newton because, as we just said, they couldn't correctly evaluate him last year. They thought he was good enough, though, to deserve another shot. He has another incentivized deal where it's like a $5 million base salary, can go up to 13.5 with incentives. So there is room there for Cam Newton to kind of show, prove the doubters wrong. I feel like for the last, 3-4 years, you get a quote from him every day saying he's going to prove everyone wrong. And he really, unfortunately, hasn't done that just yet. But this is the year. It's the second year in this system. These moves they made on defense, too. Jalen Mills will be a nice fit for the secondary. They need to get J.C. Jackson back. We'll see what happens there. But, yeah, I'm a huge fan of what the Patriots have done. And, that hurts for me to say, right? I'm a Jets fan. My least favorite team by far is the Patriots. But I can't help admire what they've done and how they're trying to turn around this offense and to make it a competent offense.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are back to contend. I
Yeah.
think last year, 7-9, Bill Belichick, that is not what he wants. Neither does the organization. That's really a wake-up call. And They needed to make improvements on offense, and they have done that. So, yeah, I think the Patriots are another threat again. Maybe not to win the division. I mean, the Bills are still the top dogs, and you can't argue with Miami. I mean, Miami is still a good team. Hopefully, they come off of a good year. And the Jets, as of with the way it looks like it's going, they might not be a pushover. Don't think they're going to really compete that well, but I think that they can at least be competitive in some games and really take a step in the right direction. But I think if you're a Patriots fan, this is the best case scenario. You got to love what the team has done, and they're reloading. And the Patriots, it's going to scare everybody, but the Patriots could possibly be back in the playoffs, and that's got to scare a lot of other teams in the league.
Yeah, for you to go like it's so unpatriot like to go 7-9. For Bill Belichick to get that team to 7-9 was one of the most impressive coaching jobs in football last year. They had no business winning some of those games. They had no business being the Ravens or the Cardinals. So the way that they were able to even, be relatively competitive with such a bad roster, it is scary. I guess last year was, the one year where I can make fun of the Patriots in a way where they weren't that great, and my team was still 2-14 figures.